God.
And I believe we are live now. Okay, cool.
Yes, sir. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Uh,
So we're gonna
Good
start off
afternoon.
by addressing one thing before we address the heavyweight fight and the other fights of the night. I gotta address one thing. So they did it again on Black History Month.
I'm so glad you started with that. They fucking picked Jermaine Durandamy for Black History Month. I didn't know she was black. Who knew that? They picked the whitest woman on earth to represent Black History Month for the UFC. But they started with Michael Chandler and now Jermaine. Are they trying to stir controversy? Like, what the fuck is going on?
This is Trump's company, you know?
Yo, I promise you, they're gonna pick the Leech next. Like the Leech is gonna represent. He's gonna represent Black History Month next.
Oh my God! Like I said, I'm gonna repeat what I said. They're gonna bring out the Leech wearing a do-rag for the last day of Black History Month.
Jesus Christ!
They might as well. I mean, look who they picked. Come on, Michael Chandler, Durandamy. I mean. I think they're trying to piss off black people. I don't know what's going on.
You know, I haven't looked it up. What is Durandamy? Is she black?
She's Dutch. I believe she's a Dutch fighter.
She's a colonizer.
She's very.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
They picked a fucking colonizer for Black History Month. Like, someone needs to get fired.
Oh man, they did it again.
I can't.
From this
guy.
point,
I can't.
From this point, nothing else is gonna surprise me. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Yo, but speaking of surprises, I'm definitely surprised by how the main event went and the co-main. Like both of them were pretty like underwhelming. Like I thought the co-main was a little better, but it was still underwhelming to me. Like, but
100%.
But when you look at it though, Nikita is so solid overall. Nikita Krylov, he's so solid overall. He beat.
Can I say something?
That's his name, right?
No. Can I say something real quick? Just off what we were talking about. So Durandamy says her mother's Surinamese, however you say that, which I believe is what Rosenstrike is.
Suriname, I think.
Suriname is whatever, and a Dutch mother. So if she's what Rosenstrike is, and Rosenstrike is one of the blackest dudes I haven't seen in my life, why wasn't he the face of Black History Month for this card? I don't get it.
Good point. It's a good point.
I mean, like a little bit more on that. Like, I find it kind of weird that it's cool to even like Bruce Leroy or whatever, right? It's cool to have him, represent or whatever. But why aren't they using any of the biggest black ambassadors of the sport, like
100%.
Izzy,
Kamaru,
Ngannou, Kamaru,
bro?
Yeah, Kamaru. Like, what's going on with
Francis
that?
in there.
Or even Aljo.
Francis is the best. Period version from what he came from to now. I mean, who better? Nicest guy in the world, a serial killer in the octagon. I mean, I don't understand. Why even talk about anybody else? DC.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
They had DC for like black commentators, I think. They had DC for like one of the first black commentators or something. So that
Rashad
Evans. Yeah, like they keep bringing this dude Randleman all the time. That's a good one, but like that's not the only great, UFC athlete.
I mean, that's probably because he passed, right?
Yeah.
I think that's probably why. Yeah, because they're showing him love because he did a lot for the sport. He was incredible.
He's a beast. He's a beast.
Incredible.
Like I wish there was a.
He was on the sauce. Don't get it
twisted.
He was on the
sauce.
But he was amazing.
Didn't he suplex Fedor? Like he slammed someone on their neck where they should have.
Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah,
the suplex, right?
He slammed quite a few people in a scary way.
Yeah.
This man had steroids in his cereal, bro. Like it was no joke.
Yeah, no, you Google him, man. He was on the sauce. I mean, he was extra jacked.
He was Jack City. But yeah, go back to what you're saying, Rose.
So the co-main event, I think what happened. What happened?
Lackluster. Help you out, yeah.
No, the co-main event. The thing about that is that Nikita Krylov is solid everywhere, and then he beat solid opponents. He beat Glover Teixeira. He beat Johnny Walker as his most recent win. So it's not. I mean, it's not. I guess it's not that surprising that the guy couldn't just dominate him. But I was a little bit surprised by the wrestling and the grappling of what's his name, Uncle Ayat. I was surprised that he was able to control him for as long as he was.
Incredible ground control, incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So I think he's still like a crazy threat for like every other guy in that division. But shout out to the light heavyweight division. I mean, you got Uncle Ayat, you got Rakic, you got Jiri, Johnny Walker still floating around somewhere.
Dominic Reyes.
I mean, there's Reyes, Dominic Reyes, Polish Power. You got Izzy about to wax that ass like in a minute. So, I mean, the light heavyweight division is more exciting, I think, than it's probably ever been right now.
You think it's more stacked than welterweight right now?
Nope.
I would go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't even let him go that far. Hell no.
It's looking good though, because light heavyweight, I think when DC was champ, was real barren. It wasn't looking good.
It wasn't bad. I mean,
like let me see. I mean, because these guys were on the come up. Like the best guys now were on the come up, so they were nowhere to be found really. But because like in terms of the top of the division, but now all those guys have made their way to the top, kind of like the flyweight division. The flyweight division, these guys were cooking when Demetrius Johnson, when Mighty Mouse was like just winning like 10 times, like defending his belt like 10 times. These guys were like in the bottom somewhere. Now all of these guys are in the front, and it's crazy now.
You know who we forgot about at light heavyweight? Glover. Didn't he just who did he just murder? I can't think of his name.
Thiago Santos.
No. It was was it Thiago?
Oh, no, Anthony Smith. He murdered Anthony Smith, but he beat Thiago Santos.
He looked good. I mean, if light heavyweight was a little more shallow and you didn't have, Izzy moving up, honestly, Glover is almost deserving of a title shot.
Yeah, Glover might be his last one. Glover and Wonderboy on that Jordan juice, yo. I don't know what's going on, man. They on some other shit right now.
Yeah, and thinking about Glover is that he's a threat still to anyone in that division. Yeah, he's still a threat. He's still a threat to Rakic. He's still a threat to all these guys.
Man, I wish they would throw Rumble back in light heavyweight. That'd be entertaining. Watch him send dudes to the Shadow Realm, or just get wrestle fucked.
But he's gonna fight Romero, right?
Yep.
Oh, I think that's a crazy. I think that's a crazy fight.
I think they're doing another Grand Prix in Bellator, which I love when they do that. The heavyweight, the featherweight, the lightweight Grand Prix they have there, they're pretty entertaining.
Yeah, this is the light heavyweight Grand Prix, right? No.
Yeah, no. I think that's heavyweight.
Heavyweight, yeah.
I think those are heavyweights. Like I could never imagine Romero and this guy Rumble ever getting together in the octagon. I never could ever imagine that kind of fight coming together.
At heavyweight.
At heavyweight. So I don't know. Who do y'all even got for that fight? That's a weird matchup to me.
Oof, that's a tough one because Yoel is like a 44-year-old golem from fucking Cuba. He's old, but I mean, he's moving up a weight class. I mean, he might be extra jack. He might have multiple missiles for the crisis coming for Rumble. But Rumble, Rumble was 400 pounds not too long ago, and he's got some ring rust. So it's anyone's game. I think I got Rumble because he's younger. I mean,
and this will be the first time Yoel hasn't cut weight in a while too. So this is be interesting.
Yeah, he might be on some other shit. Plus, he might be on those Cuban supplements with that lax Bellator testing. So he can come in looking like Randleman in fucking 2002.
Nah, but I think Yoel Romero is a better fighter than Rumble. But Rumble, he has that equalizer. 100%. But Rumble has that equalizer, just like what's his name, Deontay Wilder, just like Ngannou. So that's always a problem. Derek Lewis.
But Chris has a good point. Rumble's gonna feel that ring rust. He is against Yoel Romero. He's gonna feel it hard.
Yeah.
I want to see what weight they're gonna come in. You know?
No, it's light heavyweight. It's definitely a light heavyweight fight.
It is. It is.
Yeah. It's not. Yoel's not skipping 2 weight classes to go up to heavyweight. It's light heavyweight. That's what the Grand Prix is. It's a light heavyweight Grand Prix at Bellator.
Which belt is the one that Bader lost? The heavyweight or the light heavyweight?
The light heavyweight.
Heavyweight. So who's the champ now? I forgot his name.
Vadim. Is it Vadim?
He's a beast. I forgot his name, but
I forgot his name. But yeah. So I'm saying. Well, I mean, that doesn't say much.
The Russian dude, right? Russian dude. Yeah, I think his name is Vadim. That dude's a savage, dude.
Yeah,
he's a savage.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched that fight where he like just murdered Bader, but I mean, he's a younger Jack dude, probably on the sauce.
Before Bader went to Bellator, the last 7 dudes in the UFC did the same thing to him. So I was like, that's not like a feat to me. It's just
I was happy.
Bader was happy when he murdered Bellator.
No, he was. I'm not gonna lie, but I was happy when he murdered Bader because Bader was feeling himself too much. I'm like, relax, dude. If you go to the light heavyweight division UFC, you're gonna get cooked.
Yeah.
So remember that.
I don't even think he'll be a contender, straight up. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean that realistically. I don't think he'll be a contender.
But also, so as far as the Yoel fight, Yoel's wrestling is still very good. Yoel hasn't had to use it lately, but his wrestling to me is going to be the deciding factor versus Rumble. Because Rumble's weakness might be wrestling. I mean, we saw what DC did to him. So, I mean, Yoel is older, but I think that Yoel that could be a very exciting fight or a very boring fight. You know what I mean?
Okay, so a Rumble in the octagon, I don't think it's gonna, like, if it goes past, okay, it's definitely not gonna be boring for the first round. But if it goes past like the first round and a half, I think it definitely has that potential.
Yeah, but unless Yoel does Cuban Sign Language.
Oh yeah.
Remember he's doing that against Izzy.
Romero.
Oh yeah.
Son.
So if he fights for this one, just stand there like he do with Izzy.
So unfortunately, we also have to mention the heavyweight fight that happened, this weekend.
Why you say unfortunately?
All right, so I was expecting a lot more. That's the only reason why I say that. But I'll say this: I'll give what's his name credit for neutralizing Rosenstrike.
That's how much. That's how much he didn't give a shit. I'll give what's his name credit. That's how little he gives a shit right now.
Cyril Gane. I mean, I picked him to win. But I thought it would be a lot more impressive just because of the fact that he has great footwork. He has great setups. So I felt like if he took more risks, he would have been able to probably put him away. If he took more risks, he wasn't willing to put himself in that line of fire. And I think that's very important as a UFC fighter to be a great entertainer and, great fighter at the same time. You got to take that risk.
I might have stepped because I think there's levels where you take the risk, and I just felt like Cyril Gane on his path. Cyril Gane looks like a very, very intelligent guy. He has a good team behind him. I think they know what they're doing, and I just felt like they thought Rosenstrike wasn't the guy that they needed to take chances on. Rosenstrike is a fantastic, powerful fighter. We know that, but he's not the name that if he would have just bam and came out of nowhere, it would have been like, it was not the fight for that. I think he really wants the title, and I think he's being smart about it. He respected Rosenstrike's power. Yeah, he could have came in. Maybe he could have came in more aggressive, but I think he put on a clinic, bro. Like he outclassed him completely, round for round. Showed he can go 5 rounds, which is important. Also, minus the entertainment thing, you got to show you can go. This is his first main event. He went the full 5 rounds. He even looked excellent in the 5th round. He didn't sound tired in the interview. This like he may not have been crazy aggressive, but I think it was still very terrifying, the other aspects we saw of this man last night. The fact that he was super composed, super patient. He looks like a fucking Power Ranger when he's fucking out there. He jumps around like a goddamn welterweight. He went 5 rounds effortlessly, bro. I mean, all these other aspects minus a knockout are very, very scary. Very scary.
He kind of reminds me of the way Anthony Joshua fought the second time against Andy Ruiz. Like that's like, to me, that was his style, like last night.
Yeah. He showed that he can box also, not just knock people out. So it's the same kind of that. I think internally his team wanted him to go 5 rounds. I think that's what their plan was. I think they wanted him to just try his 5 rounds out. They were like, yeah, if you want to finish, if you see an opening and you can get it, cool. But if we can go the distance, let's do it. Let's show these people what we about, you know? And he did it effortlessly. When a heavyweight can go 5 rounds.
You heard what Dana White said after the fight, though?
About, I didn't watch it yet, no.
About Gane. He was like, yeah, he goes, whatever, he won. He goes, it's nothing more than that. He won the fight. He's like, I'm not impressed. So Dana White was kind of throwing him under the bus.
I knew
Dana White's not impressed unless you go to the hospital.
Well, like to be completely honest, like I had Rosenstrike winning the fight because Rosenstrike is a really good kickboxer. He has that experience, so I was more disappointed with him than I was Cyril Gane. I think Rosenstrike has a lot more potential and fighting experience, and he should have been.
Yeah, in the chat, you were like, "Where's the kickboxing?" In the chat.
It's like someone who's a boxer is not kickboxing, and he looks scared in there and nervous. So I don't know if Francis like fucked up his brain or something, but he just couldn't. He just wouldn't let off. But
I don't know if it's that. because he did well against JDS, and JDS is a great kickboxer still.
He did.
But JDS is a great boxer, not kickboxer.
You're right.
So Cyril Gane, though, props to him. Even though I felt that he could have did more, I understand that he's a very young fighter and he's going about it once again in a smart way. So I agree with John. You know, he's taking his time. He's trying to make the best decisions intelligently to get a title shot quickly. I mean, he's had a pretty impressive run already in UFC. So to me, the onus was on Rosenstrike to not let that happen in the way it did. You know what I mean? To me, like that was embarrassing.
I see more like, let's say if his next fight, I think they're gonna give him Derek Lewis. I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like they're gonna do a Gane Lewis fight, and I honestly, as crazy as it sounds, I think he's gonna be more aggressive in that fight. I think he's gonna look for maybe not a knockout, but a finish in general. Either one, because Lewis is the name to do it against. Lewis is hot as balls right now, bro, and it's like if he finishes Lewis in crazy fashion, he knows beyond a shadow of a doubt his next fight is the title. He knows it because they're already talking Derek Lewis title right now. Yeah. So if he finishes Lewis, if he finished Rosenstrike right now, they would have been like, yeah, he looked great as expected. Cool. Next question. Like he wouldn't have gave a fuck, to be honest. Like it's just, I don't know. I felt like last night, yeah, it wasn't super entertaining, but I enjoyed watching the fight. I'm gonna be real. This is full disclosure. Last night was a heavy Call of Duty Warzone night for me, so I was in and out of the UFC fights. It was like I'm watching, I'm just like, ugh. I just go back to the game, and I was like, ugh. It's just like it was so much not going on. So, but that fight, I turned the shit off. I told the boys I'll be back. And I sat down, I focused, and I enjoyed watching Cyril work. I get it. I get why people wouldn't have, but boy, I loved watching him work. I love watching him. I was just. Obviously, I wanted a knockout. The guy looks incredible. You know, he looks like the type of guy you want to knock him out. But I'm just watching. I'm just like, man, 4th round, doesn't look tired. 5th round, still going. Like he just, oh man. Yeah. I was like, yo, this is a scary dude right here, man. I don't care if he didn't knock him out. That's a scary dude. There's different types of fear. And they need to fear Mr. Cyril Gane.
So pretty much you were looking at his potential more than you were looking at him at the moment. Like you were looking at the future.
No. Not even that. We've been looking at his potential. We know his potential. If you're new to the sport, you might know his potential just by looking at him. I mean, we've seen enough fights of him to know what he's about. It's just I was just looking at his skill set. There's more to this than knocking people out, you know. It's just like and finishing, you know. Of brutal 5-round domination is also good too. And it may not have been bloody or wealthy, whatever, but he did his thing against a very, very powerful man who knocked the guy out with like 30 seconds left in the fight. So you already know the guy is lethal up until the last second. So it's like, I think he played his cards correct. I think he was like, this is not the fight to potentially get fucking CTE. This ain't it. I'm gonna piece this guy up. I'm gonna work him, and he looked great doing it.
And one thing I'll point out too is that what's his name? He always knew when the counter was coming. Like that's why he was throwing like one jab at a time, like because that counter was always there. Like Cyril Gane Rosenstrike was always looking to counter off of if he was to throw a 2, You know, so that's why I think that's one of the reasons why Cyril Gahn played the game carefully. He knew that counter was there.
Yeah.
Now I'll say this. You said it was a Call of Duty night for you, so I'm willing to bet you missed probably the best fight of the night. So I think personally, I think the best fight of the night was between
Rivera,
either Pedro Munoz and Jimmy Rivera, or that girl. What the hell is her name?
Alexis
Two
Davis?
girls. They were great. De La Rosa versus Silva.
Yeah.
Yep. Bueno Silva versus De La Rosa. That was ridiculous.
A great fight. That was
honestly
a really great fight. Yeah.
That might be my favorite fight of the night, low key, because that girl is. I was just looking at the future of that girl's career. She's an animal. She's an absolute animal. She's one of those people. You know how you talk about those fighters that every time they hit you with something, you know it hurts. She's that really brutal girl in that division. If her and Macy Barber meet up, that's gonna be like a collision.
That'd be a good fight.
Did you see that fight? Bueno Silva versus De La Rosa.
I did it. I wasn't zoned in, but I was watching it off and on. Like
oh my god! Did you see Montana's face? Like at the end of that fight?
She had the orbital blowout. You saw it fucking expanding in real time after the third round.
Yeah, I saw it.
Son, she looked like she got stung by like one of those Africanized bees. Like it was insane. Like
got hit. Oh, you got the murder hornet sting.
So you were saying that you were speaking on Alexis Davis when you were mentioning like the future of the division and shit like that?
No. I was talking about that fight. Okay. Bueno Silva versus De La Rosa. Bueno Silva. Silva, man, that's the flyweight division. She's brutal. She's mean.
Yeah.
She's as mean as I've seen any female fighter.
They should rematch them. They should rematch them too because it was a majority draw. Mm-hmm. I think they should run that back.
Makes sense.
I'm just as impressed by how brutal and how good she was overall as I am impressed by how much of a warrior Montana is. Montana was she just brought that wrestling pressure. She never backed down once. You could tell that girl was a superior athlete, superior fighter. She was just more mean, more brutal, but somehow Montana was hanging in there with her, and she was just bringing that wrestling pressure. So that confirms to me that wrestling is like probably
most important,
the sport where you got to grind more than any other sport in terms of like what do you call it, contact sports, huh?
Yeah.
Because she never gave up, you know, and to go to a draw. Yeah, I mean that girl grabbed the fence or whatever. That's why it was a draw. But still to still pull out a draw with that is crazy. That girl's a monster, straight up monster.
You think they're gonna rematch him?
No,
I don't think they are either.
Yeah, it's not in the UFC's best interest.
But
it's not really in the UFC's best interest to do it. But I think that they'll probably match her up against someone like Macy Barber, which would. I hope they do it. That's my dream.
Did you agree with the draw?
Did I agree with? Nah, I didn't agree with it. I mean, nah, I actually did because what's her name? Montana brought that pressure the whole time. She dominated her she controlled her on the ground for a period of time. It was working. So when you add in the fence grab and that point taken away, yeah, I could see it being a draw.
Okay.
What y'all think? What y'all think about that fight? Period.
Chris?
That was one of the best fights of the night. I liked it. That was a pretty competitive fight. Yeah, I mean, first of all, what I find real weird is that girl, her first name is Montana, and she's from Montana. That's the weirdest shit in the world. I don't know what her parents were thinking, but she's a good fighter, though. Yeah, that fence grab, that I think the other girl would have won if she didn't get that automatic point deduction from the fence grab. But yeah, it was a good fight. I would like to see him run it back because I don't know, women's flyweight is pretty shallow. It's like the second worst division in the UFC. I can't think of anyone else maybe besides Macy Barber or like Amanda Hebus that would, that'd get me excited for them fighting.
Agreed.
They're starting to work their way up from the bottom. Like the girl that beat Amanda Hebus is pretty good. You got the girl that beat Macy Barber. What's her name again, Jim? Boxer.
Grasso.
Grasso.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
That girl that fought last night. Bueno
not only
Silva.
that, but so on the last card there were two girls who I believe like were dominant. I'm not sure what weight class that was, but they were really good. It was two girls. One of them beat Dobson, and the other one beat I believe it was the last card. Two really good girls. They were
Oh,
really
you talking
dominant.
about Shayna Dobson versus Casey O'Neill?
O'Neal. She
Yeah,
has a lot
O'Neal
of
looked
potential
good.
as well.
Yeah.
Well, what is that? Strawweight or flyweight?
No, it's flyweight.
Yeah, so it
Oh,
is.
and you got Andrade.
Andrade, sure.
Well, she's fighting for the title.
For sure, it's getting better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's okay. Featherweight is like, there's like one other fighter.
It's about to be one less after next week. After Amanda commits homicide in the octagon.
Amanda literally kills every fighter. What?
As far as
What
true
happened?
featherweights, it's just Felicia Spencer, Megan Anderson.
And Jermaine Durant.
Nah, Jermaine's
Durant.
bantamweight.
Jermaine's a
Okay.
bantamweight.
She's also black, if you didn't know.
I love it.
In case you forgot.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish there was more days in February so the UFC could just, show us more fighters of color during Black History Month. Pull out Mike Perry next. Maybe even throw Megan in there.
Oh, if they put that clip where he's like, I'm 1/8 black.
Or they just play clips from him fighting old people at the bar using suggestive language.
Oh, God.
Oh man. Oh yeah, the Jimmy Rivera versus Pedro Munoz. Yo, those dudes came to play. They came to play. In that fight they came to play, and that dude that fought that lightweight that fought on the main card also came to play too. The one that was like, "Let's go, bro! Let's go! Let's bang!"
Man, yeah.
What the hell was his name again?
You're not talking about Alexander Hernandez, are you?
Yeah, against Alexander Hernandez.
Yeah.
That dude came to play. But let's go. We'll start with the Jimmy Rivera one though. Jimmy Rivera looked as good as I've ever seen him, like with the hands. But unfortunately, like those legs, man, those calf kicks are
Taking over
just
the game.
those calf kicks are epidemic, like in the UFC. Like
Oh man.
now, okay. If I break it down, like who's like probably the better, cleaner fighter, I would say probably Jimmy Rivera, but Pedro Munoz is just he's more of a dog. He's more durable. He just got that, I don't know. He has that X factor, and then he has the calf kick, which is still relatively new to these UFC fighters. So
And
and it's
also
funny because
internally, because Pedro Munoz looks like a guy that it seems like a guy that could make it to a title and do something like that. Maybe not win it, but he looks like a guy that can get there. Jimmy Rivera has all the potential in the world, but I don't see it when he's in there. I don't see it. Like, he fights like he just wants to fight. Like if something's going on in the background, maybe we don't know about, but something's on his mind every time he goes in the cage, and it ain't fighting. I don't know. I feel like he's just like wasting his talent because the dude is an animal. It's just we don't get to see it all the time. It's weird. And you can't do that against a guy like Pedro Munoz because, good Lord.
Yeah.
So Pedro Munoz has a damn brick head. Like this dude, like is so durable. I don't even think there's a brain in there.
Yeah. Because when he goes into the octagon, he don't have a brain. He just wants to fight. He's just like, let's go.
I mean, look at Pedro versus Cody Garbrandt. I mean, Cody almost knocked him out. He was so close, and then boom, he just returns fire and sends Cody to a very familiar place, and that's the Shadow Belt.
It's a very familiar place.
Yeah. He knows
To
it very
a
well.
very familiar place. Oh man, Cody Garbrandt.
Well,
Anyways.
so who does Pedro fight next? I mean, he lost to Edgar, and like I said, with Edgar, Pedro couldn't do the same kicks because Frankie Edgar moves a lot. So Frankie Edgar's never really there to be hit with those kicks flush and great performance. I don't see him winning the belt anytime soon, but I think that he has some good wins in him. So you know what I mean. But who does he fight next? And speaking of Dillashaw, who does Dillashaw fight next? Does he get a title fight immediately, or fight somebody in top 5, top 4?
I think
like-
there's potential he can get a title fight immediately because of his name, but I don't think he should, honestly. And I think Pedro Munoz should fight Uriah Faber next.
Uriah Faber?
Uriah Faber's a good one.
He's still fighting? Is he like 45?
He says he wants to still fight.
Oh, I got one. What's the name of the guy with the mullet that brings crazy wrestling pressure? Uriah Faber beat him. Ricky Simone. Yeah, Ricky Simone will be a good one. I actually like Ricky Simone a lot. Like I think Ricky Simone
ranked under him.
I believe so, but Ricky Simone's been on a tear though.
Yeah.
I think TJ should fight Corey Sandhagen. I think that should be
I would love that fight. Oh my God, that's a dream
And the
fight.
winner of that gets the next title. The winner of that gets the winner of Piotr versus Sterling.
Yeah,
I think that's what they're going to do.
And I think Dillashaw, if he fights Corey Sandhagen, he's gonna get Henan Barrow. Like just like what do you call it? It was like the passing of the guard with like Henan Barrow and TJ Dillashaw. I think it would be a similar situation with Dillashaw and Corey Sandhagen. I think Corey Sandhagen is the next level of evolution in MMA. Dillashaw was the start of that.
But the thing is, the story goes, a lot of people say that they train together, and Corey always gets the best of TJ, so TJ's afraid to fight him. You know what I mean? So that would be an interesting fight to see, you know?
Maybe Rob Font for Pedro Munoz.
He's number 3, right?
Rob, he beat Rob Font before, and Font is ahead of him.
Font changed.
He's number 8.
Font has become a different fighter. So Font, those hands.
Yeah, word. But the fact is, there's not much going on at the top for Font to take. He might want to take that loss back, you know? He might be like, fuck it, give me that guy, you know? Yeah. Depending where his mindset is. Sometimes when you get to that point, you're like, I don't want nobody lower. I'm almost there. Fuck that. So I would respect it either way.
I'll be curious to see what TJ looks like when he returns, because I think it's been 2 years. I think he could fight because, you know, what is he, 34, 35? He's not getting younger, and he doesn't have Lance Armstrong in his corner anymore, so he might not have that stamina. And there's ring rust too. I mean, it's been 2 years. 2 years, no EPO, no Lance. You know what I mean? He could be a different fighter.
Yo.
But
Lance Armstrong.
Dude looks sharp though. Dude looks sharp. If you watch the videos of him in the gym and
I've been watching the training. Yeah, I was just gonna say he looks great.
He's fast. You know, still has those. He still has good reflexes. He's agile. So, man, this might get interesting very soon.
I think TJ's a problem no matter what. Period. I mean, I genuinely don't think. I mean, I've obviously heard stories from multiple fighters saying that, you know, he's been onto these drugs for a while, whatever, this and that he's supposedly taught other fighters how to do it. There's a lot of hearsay. But I don't know. He's been under the USADA flag so long. I mean, you telling me you're that good? You never got caught? I think he just took this really because he couldn't make the weight and he really thought he'd be able to take it out, whatever. And it just is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
So I think TJ's going to come back with a fucking vengeance, you know? He's gonna fucking post every time USADA comes to his house and with a poop emoji, like fuck all of y'all, and then just run through it. I think he's gonna get the title back, straight up and down. I think he's gonna get the title back. I think he's gonna get one fight, and depending on how that fight goes, he'll get the title shot right after that. Depending on how that fight goes, and I think the Corey Sandhagen fight is a fantastic fight for him to come back to.
Corey Sandhagen.
Both have, yeah.
Okay, here's the thing about Sandhagen. I think when I watch TJ Dillashaw, I feel like he does that snake thing where he's like assessing his opponent like for a certain period of time, like he's trying to make reads. Corey Sandhagen doesn't give anyone that time anymore. Like ever since he lost to Aljo, he's just like fuck it, like we're not wasting any time. He's kind of like him and Royval are like the two people who I could think of off the top of my head who give you no time to think. They just throw a hellstorm at you with rocks, snow, rain, everything that you'll find in a natural disaster. And I think that's just gonna be too much for TJ to come back to. It's one thing to come back to a fight, but like coming back to like a hellstorm is a different story.
But at the same time, we don't know how good TJ has gotten on his time off. I'm pretty sure he was working his ass off, so he might have some new tricks to show. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So like, I'm very curious to see how that's going to go. I know it's going to be probably an amazing fight to see that fight, man. Whoever wins, it's going to be amazing back and forth. I can already tell.
Yeah, I think TJ wins that.
Against
I know that's your boy Rose, but
All right.
I think TJ would finish him. But I've been a TJ guy for long. I've watched TJ before he started mimicking Dominic Cruz style, because that shit was weird, bro. He didn't fight like that before. He was always quick and all that stuff, but like it was after the Henneberg fight that he just like I watched him and I said, "Is this Dominic Cruz or TJ Dillashaw? Who's fighting here?" He looked exactly what Dominic Cruz does. He started doing, which I mean, if there's anybody to emulate, it'd be Dominic Cruz. But it's just like it was weird.
No, I'll keep it a buck. Great. I'll keep it a buck. His performance both performances against Renan Barão are like one of the best performances I've ever seen in my life, like in the UFC. Like it's so classic. It looks like a movie, It's like it's like a crazy. It's another really good changing of the guards performance. Max Holloway versus Aldo, like both of those fights. I'm saying like the changing of the guard, like those are just great fights.
Like the way he did it too, like because it was like
that was crazy.
Like we always talk about the Conor McGregor fight. It was a fluke knockout. Not saying fluke is a negative. I'm just saying if he didn't crack him in that perfect spot at that perfect time, and that fight would have kept going, I still wonder how that fight would have went. Jose Aldo's no motherfucking slouch, especially at that time. And Jose Aldo wanted him. That's why when I hear people, I watched Brendan Schaub talking to, I think it was Joe Rogan, and they were talking about how like, Jose Aldo just wasn't there mentally and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, he was there for 20 seconds. How can you make that assessment? Like, what are you talking about? He didn't even fight him. They both threw maybe 2 punches before the fight was over. You can't really make an assessment on the mental of a fighter if they didn't fight. He got caught straight off the bat, lights out, boom, that's it. But if that didn't happen, that would have been a very interesting fight to watch. Especially with Jose Aldo's leg kicks. And we see how Conor McGregor doesn't like to get kicked in the leg.
It's a shame we'll never see that rematch, Jose Aldo versus McGregor. I mean, they're like 50 pounds apart now.
Yeah, never.
Like 50 pounds. Nah, like speaking of mental game, Dustin Poirier was talking on a Joe Rogan podcast, and he was talking about how the element of Conor's shit talk definitely affected his game plan and the fight itself, because he was talking about how there's already so much that comes with fighting itself. So even things like fight week and all the, press that you got to do, like affects Poirier, like according to him. So it makes me think, like he even said on Joe Rogan's podcast. He was like, talk your shit, talk your shit because that helps. You know what I mean? So I think he gave it away right there. But is Conor gonna come back and be that same asshole? We never know. We'll never know.
So. I love when Conor's talking shit. He should really just lean into it and be a real asshole. Like if he rematches Dustin, he should literally, like, whatever Dustin's charity does, Conor should do the opposite. Like just take meals out of kids' mouth and shit just to fuck with him. I don't want to see nice guy Conor anymore. I want to see him on full scumbag mode.
I don't think we're getting scumbag Conor back. I think he's gone. I don't think he has a reason to be. He's so fucking happy that he doesn't care. Conor is just genuinely happy.
Yeah. I mean, he has no care in the world. He has no worries anymore. He's rich. He got kids. He's happy kids. He's
created generational wealth for his family. Right. I mean, he's got nothing else to do. He could literally lay on his yacht for the rest of his fucking life and be.
Is he fighting Pacquiao? Is that actually happening or
nah?
Probably. They probably will.
The reason why I say no is because it's not as good of a story. The fact that he's coming off of losses in MMA, so
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
make it. It
Agreed.
doesn't make him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That it doesn't make him
But
look as appealing.
Pacquiao knows that's gonna make him money no matter what. So because they're gonna run that storyline that because he's been training so much boxing, that's why he got beat because of the leg kicks and he doesn't have a mixed martial arts mentality. So he's only been doing boxing. So they're gonna be like, he should go back to boxing. And that's how they're gonna build that Pacquiao fight. You know, he fought the GOAT, and you know, like he did a good performance against him. Potential bias ref, super early stoppage in my opinion, super early. But that fight should have went the distance because I mean, he never got knocked down. The ref stopped it before he even got he was still defending himself when the ref stopped it. So fuck that ref. But I think it'd be an interesting fight.
I honestly think that Pacquiao will like murder Conor McGregor worse than Floyd did.
100%. 100%.
It's like
How much? You know what weight does Pacquiao fight at?
It's like
I don't even know.
130. Like
He's light.
137. He's like 137.
And Conor made it clear that he doesn't want to cut down anymore. Like that's, I don't know. Pacquiao will have to get significant weight to fight him. And Pacquiao's short.
Yeah, he listen, man. Pacquiao is going to land like plus. This is going to have a video game like +5 CTE. He lands or Conor McGregor. It's going to pop on the screen.
Like, bet the house on McGregor.
It's going to be like Street Fighter, and one of the person never played it before. It's going to be bad.
Imagine if Conor wins that fight and then all the shit he would talk. He'll be fighting Tyson Fury after that.
On the topic of lopsided fights, why did they send this cat to Canelo last night? Like, why did they feed this man to that wolf last night?
That's boxing.
That was wrong.
You got to pad the record. It's boxing.
How much of a favorite was Canelo? Like plus 20,000? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. If you bet $1 on his opponent, did you become a millionaire if he won? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. It was ridiculous.
Speaking of that, for those people who bet, here's a hack. Find the most boring, balanced out fight and bet at least $1 to $10 on a draw. A draw is like plus 6,000 odds. So
oh shit. Yeah, we got the gambling champ over here. That's good advice. I can't wait to bet on next week's fight. I cannot wait to wager like $1,000 on Megan Anderson. I'm gonna have Megan Anderson by submission in round 1 for like plus 1 zillion odds.
$1,000.
You're talking about changing of the guard. I'm gonna fucking bet my life savings on Megan Anderson. And hope she just fucking sends a man into the shadow realm.
Toe hook, heel hook, something.
Listen, I normally would support you, right? In an underdog type of deal, you know, depending on the underdog, but this ain't it, bro. Megan is gonna get I think it's gonna be a first round finish. And I'm not trying to disrespect Megan.
You're not changing my mind.
But Megan is she shouldn't be in there with him.
She's the future of women's featherweight. You just don't see it.
Megan should relish in this moment and be proud that in her career that she's gonna have a knockout loss to Amanda Nunes because she shouldn't be in there with her. This is gonna be what happened Canelo last night. This is gonna be next weekend with Amanda Nunes. She should not be in there with Amanda Nunes.
I wish here's the thing. As the ref.
You could even watch Megan Anderson's training videos, and you see them like doing a little sparring, and she's just like she looks mad scared of the person.
Is she better than Ronda? Shadow boxing? Remember that one?
Here's the thing:
watching Ronda get knocked out was one of my favorite moments. But go ahead.
At any point when you don't believe that anything is possible in MMA, you have to remember that Artem Lobov beat somebody that beat somebody that beat somebody that beat somebody that beat McGregor. You understand what I'm saying?
That's why he's the GOAT.
We all know that.
So anything is possible in the UFC. That's all I'm going to say.
100%.
I bet. Yeah.
Megan Anderson is long, you know, and she's tall, and
she's
that's somebody, you know.
She's tall.
Yeah, what are her stats going to be when she's walking out to the octagon? It's like actual featherweight. What else? Long, and and Australian. That's gonna be your highlight reel on the side.
Oh my god.
We've never seen anyone more Australian ever in UFC history.
She's the third tallest female Australian in like on the Gold Coast. Something real random.
Here's the only way. This is the only reason why I bet $10 on Megan Anderson. Someone like 50 or 70.
A whole $10, not like $9.99.
Yeah,
like $10. Okay,
that's it. A safe bet, because what I'm relying on is Amanda had a child recently. She seems a bit depressed sometimes on social media. So maybe she's not as focused in training. Who knows? Maybe during that fight, mine is not there.
You sound like such a dirtbag. I'm banking on her depression.
You sound fucking delusional. Like maybe Megan will win. You're really grasping at straws. Like I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows, man? Who knows? Like we've seen Megan Anderson win by finish because her toe got stuck in someone's eye by accident. So who knows?
She should aim for the eyes. That's a good game plan.
What were the odds for a toe poke? Like, what were the odds for that?
What do they have the odds for that fight out yet? Like generally, I can't imagine the number, the disparity in those numbers. This fight, I mean, granted, again, like Rose said, anything happen. It could be like the most amazing fluke knockout of all time. Who knows? Very doubtful, but who knows? But
it looks like Megan is the plus 750 underdog, which is not as much as I thought, but that's still significant.
She's a plus 750?
No. Now she's plus 900 underdog.
Oh, really?
Jesus.
This goes against Dana White's philosophy, hard body. This is what he bitches about way of boxing all the time. He says, we put on fights that make sense. That's why in boxing you see like a plus 1,000, a plus 900 or whatever. He said, we don't do that here. Look at this. This is
but
crazy.
That's
a co-main event. Like this is but then it also shows you like this is the end of the featherweight. This is the end. Because let's say Amanda says after she beats the shit out of this poor bitch, she gonna be like, I don't want this belt no more. I'm gonna defend bantamweight one more time, retire. You girls can have it. By you girls, she means Megan Anderson and Felicia Benson. There's nobody else. This is like it's gone. That featherweight belt is gonna be a shrine in our house with nobody else. It's gonna be done. I don't know. Man.
So plus 900. So that you're almost getting into the territory, I think, of 10-1 odds. So if you bet $500, I think on Megan and she wins, I think you make like $5,000.
Almost.
Oh shit! I think I'm gonna do it. And then I'm gonna be fucking pissed when Amanda just.
No bullshit. I might just throw 100 on it just for the fuck of it, just see what happens.
Listen. Anything can happen in MMA, so we don't really know for a fact. Yeah. Amanda, freaking killer. Amanda's possibly the GOAT of in general. Amanda could be the GOAT in general. So
yeah.
But MMA, it's a fight, and the margin for error is very small. So anyone on certain days could make a mistake or not be there all the way. So
like I like what
I'll say this. Go ahead. All right, I want to say this publicly, just real quick. I'll say Amanda's the GOAT if she fights Valentina the third time and beats her convincingly. Because I don't give a fuck what the judges say. Valentina won the second one.
Agreed.
In my mind, they're 1-1. She needs to be Valentina.
I agree with that. I mean, and I like what Megan Anderson said. She said a lot of fighters, they fight the name and they don't fight the fighter. You know, like how Amanda bleeds just like she does. Now, that is kind of like when someone says, "I'm not scared of you," but you know they still get their ass whipped anyway because
they said it. They said it on the keyboard. You know.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's like, but you know, she's right though. A lot of people do fight the name, and I feel like if you're the type of fighter who can just look at this as a fight, then your chances are always better.
Agreed. 100% agreed. I don't think it changes anything, but agreed. I think they're being really nice with plus 900. But yeah.
That's crazy. I might bet on that too.
I think we should stop wasting time talking about this. What about Petr Yan and Aljamain? What's that think? What do you think Aljamain could do it? Not could do it.
Man.
Do you think he is gonna do it? We all know he could.
Is I have faith in I have faith in him. The reason why I have faith in him is because he's been making like elite fighters like look pretty like average these days. Like he made Pedro Munoz look very stupid, and Pedro Munoz had just knocked out Cody. He submitted Corey Sandhagen in the first round, and I thought Corey Sandhagen was on a tear up to that point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
he's absolutely taking his evolution seriously, 100%.
Yeah,
like, he's evolving incredibly, no doubt about it.
So what I'm seeing with him is that he has great defense, obviously. Like, so he hasn't been really getting hit that much. And I think if it gets on the ground, man, he's gonna be a problem for Jan. But that's a tough ask though, to get Jan to the ground, because Jan has crazy wrestling. And you got to pay a toll most of the time to get that guy to the ground. So
I already know who Jem is going.
But I believe in him.
Huh? I see Jem like, fuck Jan, bro. It's over.
No, listen. Jan is a great, powerful, crazy stamina, for all rounds, gas tank. He's a great fighter. But I think that Aljamain's ground game is absolutely incredible. I think it's criminally underrated. I think on the ground, he's probably one of the best bantamweights in that division, if not the best on the ground, as far as jiu-jitsu goes and mixing it together. So I think that if it gets to the ground, which I think it will, that Aljamain's going to win that fight. But I think that Jan is going to put up a really, really tough fight. So I have Aljamain Sterling by second round submission.
About you, Chris?
Honestly, man, it's pretty even. I want to say something crazy, but I really have no real guess. I think it go either way. Both these guys are great fighters. Both of them on like a 5 or 6 win streak or something. I'm going to give it to Sterling just because he's got a longer reach. So I think maybe Piotr can't close the distance, and if it does go to the ground, Sterling's going to have the advantage. But I think it's razor thin. It could go either way. I'm going to say Sterling.
I think I'm going for Sterling. And every time I think of Petr Yan, like I watch a highlight of him or something like that, I'm just like, man, he looks like a little boy almost. Like he looks kind of like not intimidating, And then I watch an interview and I hear him talk and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to be in the same room as this cat. He's scary as fuck. You hear this guy talk, it's like he's like Russian mafia type shit. I'm like, nah, bro. This guy's on a so I'm going for Sterling, but I think Jan is gonna get it done. I think Jan is gonna defend his belt. I don't know.
Here's the thing, right? So I'm going for Sterling. I have faith in Sterling. Now, if Sterling was to lose, I would not be heartbroken at all, because what would be on the horizon is Jan versus Corey Sandhagen. And that's possibly the best bantamweight of all time.
How does it taste, Rose?
Man, it's
all time.
There's so much conviction. The best bantamweight of all time.
You might want to clear your throat there, Rose. Jesus.
They're gonna throw Triple C back in there. He's gonna clean out the division again.
Yo, real talk. That's not unrealistic. Like, nothing would surprise me from Triple C anymore. Nothing will surprise me. Even if he somehow gets cringier, it wouldn't surprise me.
The cringe lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Israel Adesanya.
Yo, Israel is gonna wash Pete. What's his name? Jan Blachowicz. He's gonna wash Jan Blachowicz, and then he's gonna yell in his native tongue like right afterwards, and then call out John Jones to come take the next ass whipping.
I'm gonna go so far as to say he retires Jan Blachowicz. I think Jan Blachowicz is gonna leave the gloves in the cage. Be like, this man is the GOAT. I ain't fighting his ass again. Nope.
So the one thing I will say about Izzy's coach, Eugene, he thinks very realistically. He says the only time Israel has been knocked out has been guys who had a size advantage over him. So we know that this is it's his hardest fight yet, and this has been a problem that we couldn't fix yet, but we feel like we fixed it now. So
You said the
I
only time
actually,
he's been knocked out.
yeah, the only time Izzy has lost and been like finished has been guys with a bigger size advantage.
He only has one finish in his career, and the guy was not big.
No,
enough.
in kickboxing.
Nah,
Yeah.
yeah, not MMA. Well,
Kickboxing.
not UFC.
He's only had
Maybe-
one finish in his career. Period.
Well, it's possible. It's possible he's talking about the amateur level too. You know what I mean?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and no matter what he's fought, he only has one
Yeah.
loss, and that was
No.
in kickboxing. And the guy
No,
was
no. In kickboxing, he has 5 losses. I think he's
5 losses?
maybe he might have got.
knockout.
Oh,
He's been
knockout.
knocked
Okay.
out.
Okay.
He's been
So he's
knocked out
probably
before.
talking. He's probably talking the only times that he's lost. It's been against fighters who had a size advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's like, so this is the problem that we feel like we haven't been able to fix, but now we want to right that wrong. That mentality to me is great. Like, this is a great storyline, a great movie. Like, man, if Israel can pull this off, it makes the story that much more epic. And I think that Israel has the tools, the skill set, and the mentality. He's not trying to get bulky. He's not trying to, get really big and everything. He's going to use his technique, precision, his movement, and use his best attributes to freaking pick him apart and finish him. I actually think that he's going to submit Jan. Believe it or not, I think that we're going to see Israel pull off his first submission.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
And finish Jan by like a triangle or something in round. I'd say round 2.
I can see what you're talking about because he's super cerebral even during the fight, which is terrifying. Like most of the time, like there's that Mike Tyson theory. Once you're in there, kind of everything goes out the water. This man is still thinking in there. He's looking at you and doing calculations. So I could definitely see what you're talking about. Like if he feels that the weight is going to be that much, I could definitely see him switching up and going for that. Because that's the only real advantage Jan is going to have on him. He's going to be a much thicker boy. He's going to have weight on him. Because
that's gonna look very scary.
Cut anything, and Jan has to cut. So
I have an unpopular opinion. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. So number one, I'm pretty sure it's at the UFC Apex Center. It's gonna be a smaller cage, and I think Jan knows that if it goes to rounds 4 or 5, he's not gonna win. He's gonna get picked apart. I think Jan's going to rush in round 1 and knock Izzy the fuck out. And we're all going to be upset. We're all going to be upset watching another hero die in the octagon together when we all watch it at John's place. I want Izzy to win, but I think he is going to sleep in round 1. And Jan is going to scream in some Viking Polish fucking thing is going to come out of him.
If there was something I could take to just take a ride through your fucking brain, I want to take it, bro, because what the fuck? That was dark. He said another hero dies. Like, damn.
It's going to be like Anderson Silva getting knocked the fuck out by Weidman after not losing for 10 years in a row. That's what
that was rough.
That was rough.
That was rough.
That's very possible. I mean, that's possible. It can't happen.
It is.
That's what makes it so scary. While watching that fight, like it's gonna be a tense fight to watch. The moment from the walkout, I'm gonna be like nervous as hell for Izzy.
100%. Nobody's discrediting Jan. Jan is fantastic. He's a great, solid dude with power. He's generally good everywhere. He is. It's just like he's not at that point that's gonna make me terrified. Like when John Jones was gonna fight Alexander Gustafsson the first time, I was fucking terrified. When Izzy fought Costa, I know some of y'all didn't have the same. I was fucking shaking in my boots, man, because I just don't think Costa's human. I thought he was like created in a lab somewhere. So, but yeah, the same thing what you just said, Jim. That night, I know I'm gonna be like this when Izzy walk into the cage. I'm gonna be terrified, but I don't know.
I believe
right now, I don't know. I just don't see Izzy having a problem.
This is why Izzy is my favorite fighter in UFC history, because like a majority of the time he fights, I'm always petrified. Like especially like once he gets inside the octagon, I'm just like, damn, man. And then so there's always like this movie thing around him where you're like, damn, like this dude slayed another dragon. Like how many more dragons is he gonna slay? You almost want him after he does something like great, like win the belt from Robert Whittaker or like, OD on Paulo Costa. You almost want him to retire, he caught lightning in a bottle like 5 times. Like just walk away into the sunset after that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I feel about him. Like he's that much of a hero in MMA for me.
And like, here's the thing: you have to give him props for taking this risk to go up so fast, and fight Jan, a guy who doesn't have a big name like John Jones, but is champion. For him to take that chance and that risk, win or lose, he different kind of mindset to have. You know what I mean? And we all know, like even in street fights, skill is very good, but weight advantage also changes the game a little bit. So no matter how
in a street fight.
Well, yeah, yeah, but even MMA as well, like depending on the tactics being used.
Well, that's the reason why DC hasn't fought Max Holloway. That's the same reason. So yeah, weight definitely has
right. So like, but Israel has fought strong guys before, heavy strikers, and even in kickboxing, he's fought heavier guys. So I do believe that his skill set is going to translate well versus John. And
he's also fought at heavyweights too. Generally,
yes. He
fought at heavyweight in kickboxing, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Like
another thing too. I think Jan's best chance is to get in close and do some boxing on the inside, like catch him with something nasty on the inside, like what he did with Rockhold. But the thing is, I think Izzy could neutralize that, as we've seen. Like whenever people get in close, he has a good clinch defense that he uses, like so he's never getting like his block knocked off. So the only person that landed, I think, like the only two people I think landed flush were like from a distance. Like Yoel Romero caught Izzy like with that overhand from a distance.
Yeah.
And then you got what's his name?
Gaslam.
Yeah. So but since then, Izzy's gotten way better. Like you like no one's catching him with like overhands that easily.
But that's another
question.
Go ahead.
I got a question for you. If Izzy, let's just say Izzy knocks out Jan in like round 1 or 2, do you think he immediately goes to heavyweight after that?
Nah.
Izzy's not going.
He's not going to fight Jan?
No. He doesn't want to go there he doesn't want to go there because Ngannou. Like he wants there to be
no, he means that generally. He means that not out of fear. Not out of fear. It's the having the 3 African champions. That's what he wants.
Now what if Stipe wins, John fights Stipe, John wins. Now John's the heavyweight champ. Do you think Izzy goes up to heavyweight to fight John at any point?
No.
Nah.
Not at all.
3 division champion, I would like to see it. He could pull it off. If he had quick turnaround in fights, he could be middleweight, light heavyweight champ.
Yeah, but here's what I think.
I'd watch it. That'd be great. I'd love to see that.
If it's John Jones, he might.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't think he wants to. I think he's only gonna fight John Jones. I don't think he really he would keep the heavyweight belt. I don't think he's gonna fight somebody else at heavyweight. That's just ridiculous. Not saying he can't. I mean, the dude is amazing,
but I think John will get the next title shot after Ngannou and Stipe.
John's getting whatever the hell he wants.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's plausible that Izzy is the 3 division champion in maybe at the end of this year.
Every time they ask Dana White, like, what is John Jones gonna get like the next? He like has this big smile, like, yeah, he gonna get it because I'm gonna get something out of that too. Yeah,
John was looking thick. You guys saw that training video with John Jones? He's looking like a heavyweight right now.
He's looking like a thick boy.
And also new prediction. I actually think Israel is going to finish Jan in the first round and shock the world again. Jan's going to come in with something. Jan's going to come in with something heavy, get countered a few times, and then it's going to keep happening. Finally, Jan's going to be surprised by the power.
So no second round submission no more?
Nope. First round finish. Honestly think that Israel's... So when you think about it, right? Israel's fight IQ, he processes so much outcomes and so many different probabilities and variables from his opponent. When you watch Paulo Costa fight, he had him completely figured out. He had him fully neutralized in that fight. And I think that Israel, his fight IQ and his understanding of distance and angles is beyond everybody else right now in the UFC. It's what I believe. So change your prediction, first round knockout.
Also, we didn't even talk about the fact that Izzy, besides the fact that he makes all those calculations, his opponent has to make all the calculations from Izzy that Izzy is throwing out there, like all those feints, and which has gotten even better by this point. Plus, you know, he never gives his opponents a chance to really like get their feet set, or these guys are never, they're gonna have to constantly reset. They're gonna have to constantly deal with Izzy resetting. That's just gonna be a problem, and at some point, like everyone gets frustrated, and they're gonna have to like go in, or you're gonna get picked apart from the outside. You know, so it's you choose.
Or Jan just comes in like Wreck-It Ralph and boom, and it's over.
That's what I was gonna say. I could see Jan going full Neanderthal mode, no game plan, no training, just press forward in the small cage and just fucking clean his clock.
Say fuck it, let him hit me, go in.
Yeah, that's the best chance. Yeah. That's the best chance, but it's also it also can get him slept as well potentially. So and I think Israel he's gonna see that and be able to counter. That's why I think he's gonna finish him in the first round. I think Jan is gonna go with that approach. You know what I mean? Jan's gonna go with that approach aggressive, and he's gonna get countered in this. Yeah.
Yeah, there's another fight on that card that I'm super excited about. I'm trying to remember which one it is.
I think
Casey
Thiago's
Kenny
on that card.
versus Dominic Cruz.
Isn't it Rakic
Dominic Cruz
versus
and Casey Kenny? I like that fight. But Rakic and Thiago, that's
Rakic
the one I'm
Thiago,
like, woo! I want to see what Thiago shows up for that one, man, because Rakic is terrifying, bro. He's one of my favorite fighters right now.
In the light heavyweight division.
Just generally, he's one of my favorite fighters.
Just generally. So I mean, I was talking about it. Like these are like probably the most exciting fighters like in that division. You got Rakic, you got Uncle Ayat, you got Jerry, and there's one other, and Thiago Santos. I think those are the four most exciting guys in the light heavyweight division. So it's a happy day when any one of those guys match up.
Agreed.
I think now if we're talking about Rakic versus Thiago Santos, that's an interesting one because both of them have crazy leg kicks. Both of them load up like crazy on their leg kicks. Thiago Santos is more wild.
Thiago Santos also didn't look great his last fight.
Yeah, he didn't look great.
And
but
you know, like the leg kicks after 2 leg surgeries, we don't know if they're gonna feel the same.
Yeah. Well, supposedly he's fully recovered now. That's what he said. He's good now, no injuries.
Yeah, but they said that the last fight too. So. And that was against a much older man. Yeah, he's on the Jordan juice, but that was against a much older man. Rakic I got Rakic winning.
Yo, Glover is that guy though. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think Thiago. If the Thiago that fought John Jones shows up, I think that man could beat anybody in the light heavyweight division. Keep it a stack, but I just don't think it is. I think that was, no matter how much they say he's healed up, that's tough, man. Legs are an important part of MMA, and it all depends on how they're working right now.
Yeah, and also his energy is probably drained. I mean, his girlfriend, he's also training her as well.
That'll drain something from you. He's distracted by Yana.
Yeah, just piecing him apart with this poor shorty. Jesus Christ.
Well, we got Dominic Cruz is the featured prelim on there. I'd be curious to see what version of him shows up. Like, is he going to have that slick movement, or are we going to watch his ligaments disintegrate in real time? He's getting old. I don't see him getting anywhere close to the title.
Yeah, me either. But he wins that fight, though, in my opinion. He wins that fight, maybe by decision, but I don't see him making a title run anytime soon.
I don't know. I mean, unless they put some kind of new springs, like in his what do you call it? Like some new technology. Yeah. Unless they use some literal springs, some of the best technology in his legs to replace the cartilage that he's lost.
It's tough, man. I hate to talk about it in a jokey way, man, but it's tough to see. I don't think we're ever going to see Thiago Santos his best again. It's not even his fault, which sucks. But
no, we're talking about Dominic Cruz.
Oh, you had Dominic Cruz already. Oh,
yeah. Dominic Cruz, like his leg is really fucked. Like,
so wait, you think? So real quick, you think Casey's gonna win?
Do I think he's gonna beat what's his name, Dominic Cruz?
Yeah.
Nah, not really.
I was gonna say, if you do, you should just turn up your camera right now. You don't deserve to be here.
I hope
Forgot
Keith
it.
Peterson's the ref too. No
Yeah,
nonsense.
Keith
Get him in there with
No
Dom.
nonsense.
No nonsense.
He's gonna be smelling whiskey and cigarettes through all 3 rounds.
Can we talk about how great this sport is that even the referees get like light in here? Like, this is crazy. We know the referee's nickname. Like, what the fuck, bro?
No nonsense. Listen,
No
here's
nonsense.
And,
Oh
and
my
the
God.
Benavidez
Benavidez is fighting.
I'm assuming the UFC is trying to retire him because this fight versus Askarov is going to be his last fight probably.
I think he said it. Didn't he say it? I think
It has to be his last fight because he's not going to he's going to get finished that fight, whether it's by submission or TKO.
Oh, you think it's like just like that?
done.
Like, it's not even
Yeah,
talking
that's
about.
it. That's it. I actually have money on that fight. I have like $50 on that guy.
What a
Man,
surprise.
They should do Benavidez a Solomon and let him fight with a helmet for his last fight. because damn son, what he went through with the God of War. Oh man.
Yeah, he got 2 rough knockouts from Figueiredo, right?
Yeah. The God of War.
He has Megan to cheer him up, so I guess that kind of counts for something.
Yeah, but is he gonna be able, but then what good is that if he's not gonna be able to recognize her like after his last fight? You see what I'm saying? Like,
he's gonna have complete face blindness after his 3rd knockout in a row.
And it's crazy because like -1 dude, he only loses to like legends and champions. Other than that, he bodies everybody. You know, he's only lost to Demetrius Johnson, Figueiredo. Who's the other guy?
Cruz? He lost to
Dominic
Cruz.
Cruz. He lost to Cruz.
Yeah.
Yeah. He lost a split decision to Sergio Pettis. That's how I mean. Like, that's like the one guy that's like.
Oh, Sergio.
But-
He's fighting for the Bellator bantamweight belt. I can't wait for that one. Might be fight of the
He
year.
saw that look. He's like, I can't wait for that one. Like that terrible side look. Oh my god.
Oh man, nah.
Sang Yadong is fighting too. I like that cat. He should be a fun one to watch.
the little Chinese guy? Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
I mean, Sang Yadong. What else is he gonna be? The little Spanish guy, the little Italian dude.
I didn't want to be racist.
I thought he was black. I thought they had him queued up for Black History
That's what I'm
Month.
saying.
Sang Yadong. You mean the guy, the French guy? Like, what are you talking about?
Nah, yeah, he's good. He has good boxing and stuff. He
should-
definitely
that's
should. He definitely shouldn't have won against Chito Vera though. Like I thought Chito Vera like dominated him, but whatever.
I know nothing about his
Drew
opponent.
Dober. You have Islam versus Drew Dober as well. Which
Yeah.
is gonna be a pretty good fight.
Makachev is OD and Drew Dober's a fucking vet, but it's like I don't know why I'm just not excited for it. I'm not that I'm like don't think it's gonna be a great fight. I'm obviously gonna be watching. I'm just saying like something about it has me just like Islam doesn't excite me for some reason. I don't know
We'll
why.
bust out the shots and the empanadas for that fight.
Said the shots.
Yeah, my mom
Pastelitos.
already said. My mom already said she's
What?
making them.
Nice.
Oh man, those sound really good actually. I gotta try those.
Sounds like
He's
you're not
about
going
to have some pastelitos over here.
Pastelitos.
Oh man, I want to ask
What?
you because I keep. Go ahead, Jim, because I have a question. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, let's not forget, Dober knocked out Alexander Hernandez his last fight. He finished a Nasserat, the boxing dude, as well his last fight.
Dober's a
Wait,
vet.
come out.
He got shit on him.
Tell me, is Dober the one? He's like a baby eraser? Like he's like super durable. He had a brick head, like super jacked. That's him.
Yeah.
Dober's a vet, bro. Dober's been in the game.
Wait, tell me.
He's a fighter, bro. Yeah.
Wait, tell me, he's fighting. Who's he fighting?
Islam Makhachev.
Oh, damn. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying, man.
yeah, I think he might get that on Makhachev.
I
I
don't
think
think so.
is he? I got to see if you're talking about the same guy because Alexander Hernandez only got knocked out by 2 people, right? It was Drew Dober and Cowboy.
Yep.
Okay, so if that's the guy, I think he could definitely beat Islam. I think that dude is super.
He
durable.
could. Drew Dober could beat anybody if he wanted to. This
Islam's
guy
a
has
good
skin in
fighter,
the
though.
game, bro. He's been in the game for a minute. Like I'm telling you, I've been watching him for
Is he in
Ages.
team? Does he train with Gaethje? Is he in team elevation?
That's a good question. I don't know. Let me see. He is.
Check.
He's in fighting out of Denver Elevation. Yep.
Yep. That's him. I got him. He's gonna win that fight.
Islam is 18-1 though. He's got a pretty good record.
That's the thing about Islam.
Islam is a beast. Yeah.
He's like,
isn't that Khabib's cousin?
Something like that.
Isn't that the one that
he looks
punched
like
Conor
him.
in the face? Isn't that one of them?
He is. He's basically Khabib's like one of Khabib's proteges. So,
but isn't I'm sorry to interrupt you, but isn't he the one that like punched Conor in the face? One of them, or no? Or am I bugging?
Nah, it's the old one. It's the old one.
Because it was two of them. It was two of them that came in the cage.
Yeah, it was the old one.
Okay. Okay, Jim. You said he has a.
So like personally, Islam, I believe he trains at AKA, and also too Khabib's father trained him and all that stuff. I think that we're going to see the best Islam we've ever seen, and
Agreed.
That's a scary thought, especially with Khabib's father's dying, his coach dying. It's going to be a scary version of Islam we're going to see, I believe. But
anyone who had the pleasure of getting that knowledge under Khabib's dad, they're all going to be a problem coming up. Because Khabib's dad, I mean, everything I hear about this cat, the stories and how he trained people, it's just like, we're going to have a Russian fucking mob on us, man. It's crazy.
I gotta say this though, I don't ever want to sell Khabib short. Like Khabib is that dude that from 3 years old was wrestling with bears. He climbed all the way to the top of that mountain with that afro thing that they be wearing. You know what I'm saying? Like he has a different kind of, even though they all come from the same thing overall, I think Khabib has a little bit of an edge in his mentality and how he grew up, how he got developed in the game.
Yeah.
I think he has a 100%. Slight edge.
One of a kind, yeah.
So I don't ever just want to assume like just because someone is like from Dagestan that they're gonna be like Khabib particularly, because he's unique within the unique. Like Dagestan is unique in the world. Like those dudes look like different, like they look like different creatures. You know what I'm saying? But Khabib is like unique amongst that. So there's levels.
Well, nobody was comparing him to Khabib in any way. It was just like, he's just saying that he had the tutelage from Khabib's dad, which is gonna, put a fire under him in a sense,
Right.
Yeah. But nobody's definitely not comparing it to Khabib. I mean, he's been knocked out, so you obviously can't. But I don't know. So I have it's the perfect segue because I don't know how much time we have left in this, but we always talk about Khabib, what should be his last fight and this and that and all that shit. We talked about it 1,000 times. And like, I keep thinking to myself, like, in terms of legacy, and Max Holloway said something on Joe Rogan's podcast that had me like, he's like, how can you even talk about pound for pound greatest or the GOAT if you've only fought in one division? He's like, you shouldn't even be considered in that conversation for so many reasons. And then I started thinking, I'm just like, who would win against Khabib and Kamaru Usman? I feel like that's such an interesting fight because it goes to like kind of like the Izzy Jan thing where it's just like Kamaru's going to have a significant weight advantage because Kamaru cuts like a son of a bitch to get to 170. Granted, Khabib walks pretty heavy too, and Khabib's never fought at 170, to my knowledge. But I feel like for legacy, if he's only coming back for one more, I feel like he has to fight Kamaru. For legacy.
That could be, man, that's a tough one. So
that's a
Khabib has that submission threat, first of all. As far as like wrestling, they kind of cancel each other out. Power in the striking, Kamaru would have the power advantage. So that's a crazy even matchup. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That could be, that could be a boring decision for either one of them.
I don't think so. I think it'll be
you see an exciting barn burner?
I think we see an exciting grappling event in that one because Kamaru's not going to just lay down and let him hold him. Kamaru is very well versed on the ground just as much as Khabib is. And Kamaru's strong, bro. Granted, Khabib's style of taking you down is so unique that it's hard to train for. But I just don't know. I've thought about it for like days, bro, and I'm just like, I can't think of a scenario where I can just tell you so comfortably this person's gonna win. I
Here's
can't.
the thing, though. I've heard DC say Khabib's strength has been able to uphold with heavyweights that he's wrestled with,
Yeah.
including himself. So because of that, it's an interesting discussion to make. I personally, I think that Khabib wins that fight. Personally, and Holloway is also great about the power pound thing. Great point, because in boxing, the reason why Sugar Robinson is considered one of the greatest is because he fought in different weight divisions and was champion. So that's a really interesting point that he made. And I kind of agree with that actually. You can't say
Yeah.
pound for pound unless you fought in multiple weight divisions.
See, I think that's a terrible matchup for Khabib. I think that's a real dangerous
As
fight
do I.
for him because I think here's the thing. Usman's takedown defense is what, like 99% or something. So, if Khabib, it's very realistic Khabib won't be able to take him down. And if that's the case, that's it. His only real weapon is gone. And I think Khabib's weakness is straight up wrestlers. Look at Raging Al. He couldn't finish Raging Al, and Raging Al is a pure wrestler, but at 155. I think
Raging Al
Usman-
was also his like fifth opponent for that fight. Like he was, Jesus, give him a break. He was supposed to fight four other
I know
people.
what you're saying, but I think Usman's going to be too big, too strong, and I think Khabib's only slight weakness is going to be someone with pure wrestling and someone that's probably a little stronger than him. I honestly, I don't see that going well for Khabib.
You have Usman winning?
I think Usman wins that fight, especially since Usman's probably weighing 190 something for that fight, where Khabib might only weigh like maybe 180. Like I think he's.
Well,
gonna be
Khabib walks around heavy too. I've
I
heard
know he
Khabib
walks around
say he
heavy,
walks
but-
around like 175, 180. So he should be all right. But I think me and Rose have a very big disagreement with you. I think I'm going to let him talk first.
So I definitely don't think at this point Khabib's only weapon is wrestling. Like, cause I think he has really good hands these days.
As
like
do I.
he's been popping these dudes. Another thing he has, what do you call it? He has the way he gets takedowns is also different from how everyone else gets takedowns. It's very
Untrainable.
creative. Yeah, so and then he has a submission threat. So that could be, I don't know.
That was a
could
strong
be a good-
statement from you, Chris. You need to retract that, buddy.
I
Khabib's
retract
hands,
nothing.
Khabib's hands are for real, bro. Khabib's hands are real.
I
They
retract
are.
nothing. He's got some good shots in there. His striking is subpar at best. We've seen him get some lucky shots, but his main weapon is the takedown. He can't get that, he's fucked.
So let's say this.
Do you think
Let's
his
say
hand?
this.
Do you think Usman has better hands than?
I think his
than
reach
Khabib?
is probably more than Khabib,
Yes.
and we've seen Usman jab literally win the
Yeah,
fight for
yeah.
him.
I do.
I think he's going
I
to
do.
keep Khabib at bay with that.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like Khabib has no hands, like you just said. You're bugging. But Usman, I think, has very much better stand up. Not wildly better, but I think he uses it more. He's very, and now he has Trevor Whitman in his corner. Good God, this is like his striking is fantastic.
You know what? You're right, because I will say this: his jab, he actually used that jab more effectively versus Burns.
Unbelievably.
So I think that changing camps was a great move for him. Whitman's camp with training now with freaking Gaethje and stuff. Training with Gaethje alone will make you a freaking scarier dude, along with that experience. You know what I mean? And but Khabib's takedown entries are so unorthodox. I think that he'll be able to take down Usman. And it's not your ordinary takedowns. The way he turns on an angle, the way he's able to get, it's weird how he's able to distribute his weight in different angles. And so I think if anyone can get Usman down, it will be Khabib.
That's what I mean by it's like untrainable, because literally no one else does it like him. Even if it's just small little things, it's just like once he's on you, nothing from your training is gonna click. You're gonna be like, "What in the fuck do I do here?" Like it's just crazy. So I don't think we've never seen Usman off his back. I don't think. I can't think of a time.
That's
Yeah,
why
just
no one
like-
takes him down.
So it's like if he could get him on his back, it'd be interesting. Because how's Usman's jiu-jitsu gonna flow? You never know. We don't know. He never had to use it. So I don't know. So let's say that they announce that fight tomorrow. Let's say, bam, Khabib's coming back for the legacy fight, him versus Usman. Who are you taking?
Khabib.
I got Usman.
Khabib.
Guys are a bunch of fucking.
Damn, I'm trying to think.
What do you mean? You putting Khabib on a pedestal? How you thinking now?
I'm not putting Khabib on a pedestal. Who put Khabib on a pedestal?
How you gotta
I'm
think about
defending him because he's trying to make
that?
him a one-dimensional fighter, and he's not.
You talking all that good shit? How you gonna think about it now?
I ain't talking shit. I'm just defending him. You bugging. I might, as of now, honestly, thinking as far as everything from mental, physical, everything, I just think Usman's gonna win. I think they're both probably the most mentally strong fighters. Not probably, they are the most mentally strong fighters in the game, period. They're both extremely well-rounded. Neither of them are going to get each other's head. So it's really going to come down to who's better in there, like who's physically better generally, because their mindset is going to be perfect in there. They always are. And I just think Usman is just going to be bigger, stronger, and potentially faster. Usman is legit, man. Legit. I don't think he gets the fucking credit he deserves. That dude is legit.
So what's that? That's two on two. Like Jim chose Khabib, right? All right. So
see, not even we can get it together. You see, I thought it was just me. It's just like,
yeah.
I think that could potentially be as far as the most high level mixed martial arts fight you can make. I think it doesn't get better than that. I think that's better than John Jones and Izzy.
I'm hyped for it.
I was just gonna say John Jones and Izzy to me is higher level than that, but I don't know.
I think they could be potentially equal in a sense. I think so.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of high level, did you hear Khabib's statement on Tony Ferguson? Like he basically discredited Tony Ferguson's whole career. So, and I quote, he said, I never thought Tony Ferguson was a high level fighter. He fought against Cowboy. He won against Cowboy, Pettis, and he named like two other people, right? Then he said as soon as he got like top opponents like Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira, he gets smoked. So I felt kind of bad like when he made that statement because I'm like, damn, like he's just kicking the man while he's down. But you know, he made an interesting point. So what do you guys think about that?
I think it was the most eloquent way of talking shit. I think it was I think it was a professional trash talk because Ferguson is constantly talking shit about Khabib. And Khabib is not that type, so he's just saying his piece. You know, like Khabib wanted that fight for legacy because Ferguson just was that guy. It's not about who he fought. It's about the fact that he had like 12 wins in a row. Who else are you going to fight? So, but I think he means that genuinely. I think he's like, I didn't want Tony Ferguson because I thought he could beat me. I just needed him because he had 12 wins in a row and I needed to smash him. And that's it. For legacy.
So to be honest, I don't think that statement is accurate. I think that Tony Ferguson was one of the best fighters in the division. I just think that his fight style and the damage that accumulated and also mental issues he had in his personal life and those things kind of got in the way of him being as great, as he could be still. And I think that we noticed that after, the whole like cutting weight twice thing was absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why you would even do that. Like that's just insane to me. So Tony is his own worst enemy. I believe that if he wasn't in his own way and he was more pliable to people around him, telling him things and more open, then he will be able to reach his full ceiling of potential as a fighter. But now it's probably too late.
I think it's too late too.
See, I agree with Khabib there. I mean, I think it's pretty cut and dry. I mean,
Kevin Lee was one of the guys as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Khabib's right. I mean, Tony Ferguson, he was looking great, 12 wins in a row, and then he, it's pretty black and white. He just faced two guys that were better than him, Oliveira and Gaethje. I mean, he was outclassed. I mean, it's pretty simple. I think he's right. He just fought guys that beat him and that are better than him. So
they were outside anomalies, though. You have to understand. Remember, all this started happening when this COVID shit started. And his personal way of preparing for a fight completely changed. And Ferguson stopped having like real physical mentors around him and physical people around him, shit like that. He's really doing a lot of the shit by himself. And you can't really train for a fight. Like his whole mentality of preparing for a fight changed.
He's getting old too, though. I mean, he's not getting any younger. I mean, his athleticism, he looks great, but I think physically he might be declining a little bit because what's he, like 36, 37? Like he's kind of old.
Agreed.
So
I think I think he has CTE too, but you know, that's all we're talking about.
When you say he didn't have like good mental guys in his corner, are you talking about the same niggas that were telling him to pick up sand, like in that fight against Gaethje? Like when Gaethje was just there knocking his block off.
Oh man, who do we have in his corner? What's Eddie? What's that guy's name?
Eddie Bravo.
Eddie Bravo. Yeah, Eddie Bravo's talking about fucking like conspiracy theories in the corner.
Word, right? When you look into it.
Yeah. Tony's getting pieced up, and Eddie Bravo's talking about how fucking like I don't know something about Tower 7. I don't know.
Tony goes to the corner. Eddie
the
puts
Big Bang Theory
foil on his head. He's like, "Take it easy, buddy. Take it easy. They're not gonna talk to you."
Put a tinfoil cap on his head in between rounds.
It is a great coach as far as jiu-jitsu goes.
Jiu-jitsu is great jiu-jitsu coach.
Yeah.
Questionable.
He's no Trevor Whitman in that corner. No, he's not. But yeah, so there's anomalies about it. I am wholeheartedly going to disagree with anyone who says Tony wasn't a top tier motherfucker to the max, because he was. I just think that the whole COVID shit and everything, how it changed everything, kind of, especially a guy like him that he's getting on the tail end of his career, that wasn't good for him, period, in any way. Tony, it more than anybody, I feel, needs a great mind keeping his mind in check. As much as he thinks he's a loner and he thinks he's a locked case and all this, no, brother.
That's what I'm saying, man.
We all need somebody, and you definitely need somebody, bro.
For big time, like the dude had a pair of shades on. Played the video of Oliveira and said I had him broken in the first round. Like, really, dude?
Do you guys remember when Tony Ferguson was doing that interview next to Verdum, and he's like, "Y'all ankle pick you right now." Verdum's a heavyweight. I'll ankle pick you right now.
Damn, I was legitimately scared. Like when Verdum actually stood in front of him, it made me realize why it made me realize why there are weight classes in the UFC. Like that's when it was real to me,
bro. He's enormous.
And Verdum seemed like he would pop off. And Verdum seemed like he's actually about that life too. So
he slapped Kobe Covington with a boomerang, bro. Don't forget about that.
The most Australian
Don't play with Verdum, bro. My man said.
Oh, you know what? I think we know Megan's path to victory. Give her a boomerang in the octagon.
Oh man, son.
Poor Megan, man.
On that note, like this wraps up today's episode.
All right, John.
Tune in next week when Israel claps them cheeks like Derek Lewis likes to say. Against a legendary Polish power. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel.
And follow us on IG as well.
Yes, sir. Don't forget. We're gonna have some fun next week.
Peace out. Yo, I want brownies, man. I gotta get some brownies like sometime this week.
Matter of fact, I'll have brownies for the event. Kiki.
Oh man, I'm there.